They call it the quiet thief. It doesn't scream, it doesn't bruise, and it doesn't show up on your calendar. Until one day, getting out of bed feels like pushing a car uphill. Sarcopenia, the age-related loss of muscle, is now tied to more falls, more hospital stays, and a faster slide into dependence than most people realize, and it usually hides in plain sight for years. Grip strength softens, walking pace slows, recovery after a minor stumble takes days instead of hours, and the warning signs get dismissed as just getting older, until daily life starts to shrink. But here's the part almost no one tells you. The right foods, timed and combined the right way, can tilt biology back in your favor, even when muscles seem stubborn to respond with age. Today, you'll see 8 everyday foods and patterns grounded in clinical and cohort evidence that help protect strength, restore function, and reduce frailty risk as the years add up, without hype, and with clear lines between proof and possibility.
Your muscles don't just need more protein. They need the right protein at the right time in the right form. That's how you outmaneuver anabolic resistance after 60. Aging muscle stops listening to small protein doses, which is why grazing on low-protein meals leaves strength on the table, even when total calories look fine. The fix is deliberate distribution. Aim for 25 to 35 grams of high-quality protein per main meal, anchored by leucine-rich sources that switch on the mTOR pathway for muscle protein synthesis in older adults. Think of it as flipping a biological light switch. Enough leucine per meal consistently, and your body gets the message to build instead of drift. Miss that threshold repeatedly, and the day quietly tilts toward loss instead of maintenance.
Greek yogurt earns an early slot because it solves 3 problems at once: quality, digestibility, and timing flexibility for evenings. Straining concentrates the protein, especially casein, which digests slowly and maintains a steady stream of amino acids during the long overnight fast when breakdown accelerates with age. Plain, unsweetened Greek yogurt avoids the sugar trap and pairs cleanly with berries or nuts for micronutrients and fiber without crowding out protein. As an evening anchor, it's simple, soft, and reliable, perfect when appetite is low or chewing is tiring after a long day. Protein targets only work if they're realistic, so put them on rails. Set breakfast, lunch, and dinner to each cross that 25 to 35 gram threshold, then plug gaps with a practical booster when needed. This is where whey protein shines. Fast digestion, high leucine, and strong support for older adults working against anabolic resistance, especially when paired with resistance training. Trials show better strength and functional outcomes when supplementation is aligned to exercise, with measurable gains in performance in older populations over weeks to months. Keep powders clean, minimal additives, low sugar, and use isolates if lactose is an issue. The rule is simple: food first, whey when convenient or appetites are unreliable. No single protein wins every situation, so build a rotation that fits your life instead of forcing perfection that collapses in a week. Greek yogurt or eggs to stabilize mornings, lean meats or fatty fish to anchor lunch or dinner, and whey as a post-training or low-appetite solution keeps intake consistent despite fluctuating energy and schedules. Pair proteins with produce, olive oil, and whole grains to improve insulin sensitivity and micronutrient coverage that indirectly supports muscle function and recovery with age. Teaser. Next, a rapid-fire protein strategy that spikes amino acids when your muscles are most primed to use them and why timing that window pays off.
Fast matters. When muscles are primed, the protein that hits your bloodstream quickest wins the biggest response, especially after 60. Whey protein is the surgical strike of protein, high in leucine, rapidly digested, and consistently effective at flipping on muscle protein synthesis in older adults facing anabolic resistance. Meta-analyses in seniors with sarcopenia show whey-enriched supplements improve appendicular muscle mass, gait speed, and, when paired with resistance training, hand grip strength, core markers tied to independence and fall risk. Clinical programs that combine whey, leucine, and vitamin D alongside rehabilitation improve SPPB scores, chair stands, TUG, and even shorten hospital stays, indicating benefits beyond lab numbers and into real-life function. The pattern is clear. Targeted whey around training is a high-yield, low-friction move for aging muscle. Timing magnifies the effect. The most practical window is within about an hour after resistance exercise, when amino acid delivery is used most efficiently to repair and build tissue. For rest days or low appetite mornings, whey can also close distribution gaps so each meal crosses the leucine threshold that aging muscle requires to respond. Keep the formula clean, minimal additives, no unnecessary sugars, and consider isolates if lactose is an issue. The goal is digestibility and speed, not candy in a shaker. Consistency beats spikes, so think routine, not rescue. There's more under the hood than just amino acids. Whey's bioactive peptides have been linked to improved insulin sensitivity and lower inflammatory markers, factors that quietly drag on muscle retention as we age. Trials combining whey with vitamin D repeatedly show additive gains in lean mass and strength, likely because vitamin D supports muscle function and performance, particularly in older adults with low baseline levels. If daylight and diet leave gaps, pairing whey with vitamin D can be a practical 2-for-1 that supports both synthesis signals and neuromuscular function. What about total dose? In older adults, 20 to 40 grams per serving is a realistic range, depending on body size, recent intake, and meal composition, with many plans centering on 25 to 30 grams post-workout to ensure sufficient leucine to trigger synthesis. The rest of the day should still be anchored by whole food proteins. Whey is the accelerator, not the entire engine. Blend with water or milk, or pair with Greek yogurt and berries for extra casein and polyphenols if you prefer a thicker meal replacement. Just keep sugars controlled and labels simple. Quality control matters. Choose reputable brands with third-party testing where possible, and avoid gainer blends that bury protein under starches and syrups that don't serve your goals. If dairy causes issues, hydrolyzed or isolate forms can be gentler. If still problematic, hold whey for strategic use and lean harder on eggs, fish, and lean meats to keep distribution intact. Teaser. Next up, the heavy hitter that brings leucine, creatine, iron, and B vitamins in one compact package, why lean beef still earns a seat at the table for aging strength.
The heavyweight move isn't flashy. It's a compact plate that delivers leucine, creatine, iron, and B vitamins in one hit. Lean beef earns its spot for a reason. Lean beef brings density where it counts. A modest serving delivers high-quality protein with a leucine profile that reliably flips on the mTOR pathway, vital when aging muscle needs a louder signal to synthesize new tissue. It also supplies creatine naturally, supporting short-burst power and training quality, two levers that protect strength and mobility with age. Add heme iron and B vitamins, and you're improving oxygen transport and energy metabolism, which makes day-to-day activity and resistance training more sustainable. For older adults who struggle to hit per-meal protein thresholds, lean beef is a precise way to cross the line without oversized portions. The training signal still decides the outcome. Randomized programs combining lean red meat with progressive resistance training show meaningful gains in muscle mass and strength versus diet alone, reinforcing that protein is the building block and training is the instruction manual. Observational data link higher beef intake with greater mid-arm muscle area in older adults, hinting at a real-world association between regular lean beef and preserved muscle measures. Not every trial finds extra beef enhances gains beyond an already optimized high-protein plan, which underscores the principle. Total protein distribution and training consistency are the big rocks. Translation: lean beef helps most as a dependable way to hit thresholds, not as a magic food that replaces the hard work. Practical choices keep the benefits while managing risk. Choose sirloin, tenderloin, eye of round, or extra lean ground options, trimming visible fat and keeping portions in the 3 to 5 ounce cooked range per meal to balance muscle protection with cardiometabolic prudence. 2 to 3 lean beef meals per week can fit well within a pattern that includes fatty fish, eggs, dairy, legumes, and poultry, diversifying amino acids and micronutrients across the week. Grass-fed options may offer a more favorable fat profile, but the bigger win is portion control and total dietary pattern. Mediterranean-leaning approaches repeatedly align with lower frailty and better function in aging. Pair beef with vegetables, olive oil, and fiber-rich sides to support insulin sensitivity and inflammation control while keeping protein front and center. Dose still matters. Older adults often need 1.0 to 1.2 grams per kilogram per day of total protein to maintain muscle, distributed across meals at 25 to 35 grams each. And lean beef is an efficient way to hit those targets when appetite is limited. On training days, ensure the post-exercise meal crosses the leucine threshold. A 3 to 5 ounce serving of lean beef paired with a complementary protein or dairy will reliably get there for most body sizes. On non-beef days, maintain distribution with fish, eggs, Greek yogurt, and whey to keep synthesis signaling consistent rather than spiky and irregular. The outcome improves when consistency does, not when any one food is overused. If you're cutting back on red meat, keep the strategy intact. Replicate the amino acid profile by combining poultry, fish, eggs, dairy, and legumes across meals, and consider creatine supplementation if training intensity drops without beef in the rotation. Both are practical ways to protect results while personalizing the menu. For those managing lipids or blood pressure, keep beef lean, pair it with plants and EVO, and monitor overall saturated fat across the week rather than fixating on a single plate. Teaser. Next up, the Protein Plus anti-inflammatory package that makes each gram work harder in older muscle. Why fatty fish changes the equation.
Protein is good. Protein that also lowers the background noise of inflammation is better, and fatty fish does both. Fatty fish deliver a two-part advantage older muscles can feel: complete, high-quality protein to repair tissue and omega-3s that help muscles respond more effectively to that protein signal. EPA and DHA can support muscle protein synthesis signaling and have been associated with improvements in hand grip strength and gait speed when fish appears in the routine consistently across weeks, not just once in a while. That matters because aging muscle often needs a stronger nudge to grow. Omega-3s help amplify the nudge so the same protein hits harder. Practical translation: salmon, mackerel, sardines, and trout aren't just heart foods. They're strength protection you can taste twice a week. Consistency beats perfection. In small interventions, adults 50 to 85 who ate fish for lunch twice weekly over 10 weeks increased skeletal muscle mass and improved functional markers like hand grip and slow gait thresholds.
a rare win for a simple food habit with measurable strength outcomes. Mechanistically, classic work in older adults shows EPA and DHA can augment the insulin amino acid-driven rise in muscle protein synthesis while upregulating key anabolic signals like mTOR and P70S6K, which helps explain why function improves over time. Combine that with the vitamin D in fatty fish, commonly low with age, and you're stacking two muscle-supportive levers in the same meal. Keep portions realistic and repeatable so it becomes a rhythm, not a project. Make each serving count. Aim for roughly 2 fatty fish meals weekly, about 4 to 6 ounces cooked per serving, which aligns with mainstream cardiovascular guidance and dovetails with muscle preservation goals. If fresh options are pricey or inconvenient, canned salmon or sardines in water or olive oil are budget-friendly and retain omega-3s with excellent protein quality. Easy over whole grain toast or tossed into salads drizzled with extra virgin olive oil. When cooking, keep it simple. Salt, lemon, herbs, and a gentle roast or pan-sear preserve texture and encourage adherence, which is the real superpower here. If bones are edible, as in many canned products, you also pick up calcium, a quiet bonus for aging frames. What if you rarely eat fish? Supplements can bridge the gap, but food first still wins for satiety, micronutrients, and routine building. If you do supplement, consistency over months matters more than sporadic use. Discuss dosing with a clinician if you're on blood thinners or have specific conditions. Plant-forward eaters can include ALA sources like walnuts and flax, but for muscle outcomes in older adults, direct EPA and DHA has stronger support. Consider algae-based EPA-DHA if you prefer a vegan route. Either way, integrate with protein-rich meals to ride the synergy rather than relying on capsules alone. Build the plate for results. Pair salmon with a Greek yogurt herb sauce to add slow-digesting casein, or scatter sardines over a bean and olive salad drizzled with extra virgin olive oil to support insulin sensitivity and recovery. Add berries for polyphenols that help with oxidative stress, and whole grains for steady energy that supports training quality. Everything working toward the same goal. Keep sodium in check if using canned fish by choosing low-salt options or rinsing briefly, preserving the omega-3 benefits without a blood pressure penalty. Teaser. Next, the compact powerhouse that punches above its size. Why whole eggs can amplify the muscle-building signal beyond egg whites alone.
If you're tossing the yolk, you're tossing part of the signal. Whole eggs can amplify the muscle-building response beyond protein alone. Whole eggs pack a compact mix of high-quality protein and leucine with yolk nutrients, phospholipids, vitamins, minerals that appear to boost the anabolic response more than egg whites alone, even when total protein is matched in controlled settings with young adults after resistance exercise. Reviews suggest the yolk provides roughly 40% of an egg's protein and may carry bioactive compounds that help turn a good protein dose into a stronger synthesis signal, pointing to benefits that go beyond macros. Popular summaries of university studies report a larger post-exercise protein synthesis response on the order of 40% with whole eggs versus whites, reinforcing the idea that the food matrix matters for how muscles actually use amino acids. While direct long-term data in older adults are limited, the mechanistic edge and practicality make whole eggs a strategic breakfast anchor for aging muscle. Morning is the missed opportunity. Many older adults eat low-protein breakfasts, which weakens daily distribution and blunts synthesis signaling across the day. 1 to 2 whole eggs at breakfast helps cross the leucine threshold and sets a stronger baseline for strength preservation. Pair eggs with Greek yogurt or cottage cheese to push the meal into the 25 to 35 gram protein range associated with better muscle protein synthesis in older adults.
rather than relying on a single egg that undershoots the dose. For convenience and adherence, hard-boiled eggs make an easy snack that displaces ultra-processed choices and keeps distribution steady without complicated prep. The repeated win is simple, repeatable intake that clears the threshold at each meal rather than occasional high-protein spikes. What about cholesterol and heart risk? For most people, moderate whole egg intake within a balanced diet is compatible with cardiometabolic health, but individual responses vary. Those with known hyperresponder profiles or specific lipid concerns can monitor labs and adjust frequency while preserving overall protein distribution goals. In those cases, combining one whole egg with extra egg whites keeps protein high while moderating yolk frequency, a practical middle path that preserves the distribution strategy. Focus on the broader plate. Add vegetables, whole grains, and extra virgin olive oil to support insulin sensitivity and recovery without crowding out protein. It's the pattern that protects you, not a single ingredient in isolation. Preparation matters for adherence, not just nutrients. Simple methods, boiled, poached, or lightly sautéed in olive oil, keep flavors clean and routines sustainable, which is the real lever for month-over-month progress in older adults. Batch cooking a dozen eggs once or twice a week removes the friction of what do I eat during low-energy mornings or travel days, helping you maintain distribution without reaching for low-protein defaults. Rotate add-ins like spinach, tomatoes, or herbs for micronutrients and palatability, and use a side of berries to layer in polyphenols that support recovery after training. Teaser. Next, the plant-based armor. How nuts and seeds quietly defend muscle by covering micronutrient gaps and dampening the wear and tear that accelerates loss.
Muscle protection isn't only about protein grams. It's also about the quiet defenders, magnesium, vitamin E, zinc, and plant omega-3s that keep muscle cells working under pressure. Nuts and seeds earn their place because they cover gaps older adults commonly face: steady plant protein, magnesium for contraction and energy metabolism, vitamin E to shield cell membranes, and zinc to support hormone balance that influences muscle retention over time. Almonds deliver protein plus magnesium, which is frequently low with age and tied to cramps, fatigue, and reduced training quality when intake falls short. Walnuts contribute ALA, a plant omega-3 associated with lower chronic inflammation, useful in an environment where long-term, low-grade inflammation accelerates muscle loss and blunts recovery. Pumpkin seeds bring zinc, supporting testosterone and broader anabolic processes that can wane with age, helping keep the muscle-building signal from fading. The antioxidant layer matters more than it seems. Vitamin E across mixed nuts and seeds acts like a shield for muscle cell membranes, reducing oxidative stress that rises with age and contributes to faster tissue breakdown after minor strains or training bouts. Higher circulating antioxidant levels have been associated with less muscle loss in older cohorts, suggesting that these foods help maintain the cellular environment where protein can be turned into structure, not wasted. In practical terms, a small daily portion does more over months than a sporadic handful. Consistency is the lever, not perfection. Making nuts and seeds a routine snack displaces ultra-processed options that correlate with frailty risk and poorer metabolic markers in older adults, indirectly supporting strength trajectories. Portion control keeps the benefits. Nuts and seeds are calorie-dense, so pre-portioning 1 to 2 ounces, about 28 to 56 grams, helps maintain energy balance while preserving the micronutrient advantages that protect muscle over time. Choose unsalted versions to avoid unnecessary sodium, especially if managing blood pressure or fluid retention.
Flavor can come from spices like cinnamon, paprika, or chili instead of salt-heavy blends. Rotate varieties: almonds, walnuts, pistachios, cashews, pumpkin seeds, chia, and flax to diversify nutrients without over-relying on a single profile, which spreads risk and broadens benefits.
The goal is a dependable daily habit that quietly compounds into better function, not a one-time megadose that doesn't stick. Make them work harder for you. Pair nuts and seeds with protein anchors to upgrade meals without crowding out the leucine threshold. Think Greek yogurt with almonds and blueberries, or eggs on whole grain toast with a pumpkin seed sprinkle for crunch and zinc. Blend chia or flax into a whey and berry smoothie post-workout for fiber and ALA, keeping sugars low and labels clean while preserving the fast amino acid delivery window. For budget and convenience, buy in bulk and portion into small containers for grab-and-go snacks that beat cookies and crackers on protein density and metabolic impact. Small frictions removed equals better adherence, and adherence equals outcomes in older adults. Plant forward with intention. If leaning more plant-based, use nuts and seeds as part of a broader plan that still hits 25 to 35 grams of protein per meal by combining legumes, soy, dairy if used, or supplemental whey to clear the leucine trigger consistently. Remember that nuts and seeds complement protein goals rather than replace high leucine sources. They shine by supporting recovery, hormone balance, antioxidant status, and insulin sensitivity, all factors that decide how well muscles use the protein you eat. Keep the daily habit tight, the portions measured, and the combos strategic to turn these small foods into a large advantage for strength after 60. Teaser: sweet, colorful, and underestimated, next are the polyphenol-packed berries that help muscles recover faster and perform better session after session.
Sweet doesn't have to sabotage strength. With berries, sweetness doubles as recovery. Polyphenols that help aging muscles bounce back faster and work better next time. Berries bring anthocyanins and vitamin C that counter oxidative stress and calm low-grade inflammation, the two background forces that make every training session feel heavier with age. Systematic reviews report early but consistent signals. Blackcurrant and blueberry interventions often reduce markers of muscle damage and improve functional recovery after hard efforts, with several human trials showing performance benefits in real settings. That matters for older adults because better recovery means you can show up for the next session, which is where strength is actually kept and gained. Think of berries as the cushion that absorbs impact while protein and training do the building. The broader produce pattern helps too. Trials increasing fruit and vegetable intake toward 5 servings per day in older adults show trends toward improved grip strength, even when other physical function metrics don't jump right away. Small wins that compound across months of consistent habits. Blueberry-focused guidance for exercise recovery highlights anthocyanins as the plausible driver, supporting muscle progenitor activity and limiting oxidative damage that slows regeneration with age. Practical translation: a daily berry habit won't replace protein or training, but it makes both work smoother and feel more sustainable. That's the hidden edge. Less soreness, steadier training, better outcomes. Make it automatic and low friction. Frozen blueberries or mixed berries deliver year-round access at lower cost, with most of the polyphenol punch preserved, and easy pairing alongside protein anchors like Greek yogurt or whey smoothies. A post-workout blend of whey, frozen berries, and a spoon of chia or flax layers amino acids, anthocyanins, fiber, and plant omega-3s in one fast, digestible meal that supports the recovery window without sugar spiking. On non-training days, a cup of berries at breakfast helps stabilize distribution and keeps the antioxidant background high, so recovery stays on track between sessions. Consistency beats novelty here. Repeatable routines beat exotic recipes you make once. Choose varieties that pull their weight. Darker berries like blueberries and blackberries typically carry higher anthocyanin loads per bite, and blackcurrant extracts have shown reduced muscle injury and better functional recovery in controlled conditions with eccentric exercise. Tart cherries and purple grapes, while not berries in the strictest sense, show similar anti-inflammatory effects and have improved time to exhaustion in runners. Useful patterns that point to a class effect of polyphenol-rich fruits on recovery dynamics. For seniors rebuilding routines, lowering post-exercise soreness can be the difference between consistent training and repeated breaks that erode progress. Small edge, big dividends over a season of workouts. Keep the plate coherent. Pair berries with protein at the meals that tend to be weak for older adults, breakfast and snacks, so you protect distribution and stack recovery inputs when they matter most. If appetite is low after training, a simple shake with whey and frozen berries covers protein and polyphenols without heavy chewing, improving adherence on tough days. Rotate berry choices to keep palates engaged without losing the core benefit. The goal is daily exposure, not occasional splurges that don't move the needle. Teaser: one more staple doesn't add protein at all, but it can lower the friction that ages muscle from the inside out. Extra virgin olive oil.
This one won't add protein, but it makes every gram you eat work smoother by lowering the background stress that ages muscle from the inside out. Extra virgin olive oil earns a seat because its phenols, like oleocanthal and oleorepain, show anti-inflammatory and antioxidant activity that supports muscle maintenance as we age. Reviews link EEVO-rich Mediterranean-style patterns with better muscle function and strength in older adults, likely by modulating oxidative stress and inflammatory pathways that accelerate sarcopenia. While EVVO won't trigger muscle protein synthesis by itself, it improves the terrain for recovery, insulin sensitivity, and day-to-day performance so training and protein can do their job. Think of it as the lubricant for the entire system rather than a standalone builder. Quality and handling decide the benefit. Choose dark bottles, look for harvest dates, and use generous drizzles on salads, vegetables, and cooked grains to preserve phenolics that don't survive high heat as well as the marketing implies. Regular daily use beats sporadic splashes. 2 to 3 tablespoons per day, woven into meals, aligns with Mediterranean patterns associated with better functional aging. When budget matters, prioritize freshness and authenticity over fancy labels. A peppery, slightly bitter finish often signals higher phenolic content that drives the effects you want. Store away from heat and light to keep those compounds intact longer. What about olive leaf and concentrates? Early research highlights oleorepain found in olive leaves and present in smaller amounts in EEVO as a candidate molecule for supporting mitochondrial function and muscle performance with age. But this area is emerging and not a replacement for food-first habits yet. Human evidence is still building, so frame extracts as optional and secondary to an EEVO-forward diet that already carries a robust antioxidant and anti-inflammatory profile. If considering supplements, match the decision to personal context and medications and keep expectations calibrated to adjunct support rather than dramatic, rapid changes. The day-in, day-out drizzle remains the proven move. Make EEVO amplify your protein. Pair salmon with an EEVO herb dressing to combine EPA, DHA with phenolics that help tame inflammation and support recovery after resistant sessions. Finish lean beef or eggs with a light drizzle and plate them alongside bitter greens to synergize protein, micronutrients, and healthy fats in one coherent meal pattern. Use EEVO to replace ultra-processed dressings and cooking fats that add calories without the same protective polyphenols, nudging the whole diet toward a muscle-friendly Mediterranean tilt. Consistency creates the compound interest. Flavor makes consistency easy. Bottom line, EEVO won't build muscle like whey or beef, but it reduces the friction, oxidative stress, inflammatory noise, metabolic sluggishness that keeps older muscle from using protein and training efficiently. It's the quiet support act that helps your heavy hitters perform. Protein distribution, leucine-rich foods, omega-3s, and progressive resistance training. Drizzle it on meals you already eat and let the routine carry the benefits while you focus on hitting protein targets and reps that tell your body what to keep. Teaser: now that the food list is locked, the final sections will pull it all together with a conclusion and an action-focused outro that keep viewers moving forward.
Muscle loss with age isn't inevitable decline. It's a negotiation shaped by daily choices and consistent signals sent to the body over months and years. Protein-rich foods like Greek yogurt, whey, lean beef, fish, and eggs supply the building blocks, while nuts, seeds, berries, and EVO create a metabolic environment where those blocks become structure, not waste. Omega-3s are a notable lever, improving synthesis rates and measurable strength and performance in older adults when used consistently alongside training. Dietary patterns matter as much as individual foods, and Mediterranean-leaning approaches repeatedly associate with lower sarcopenia risk and better functional outcomes. The through line? Pair smart nutrition with progressive resistance exercise, distribute protein across the day, and keep inflammation and ultra-processed foods in check to tilt the odds back toward independence. If this helped, build your week's grocery list around 2 protein anchors per day and add 1 recovery booster you'll actually use. Small steps repeated change trajectories. Let us know what you think soon. Share your thoughts in the comments. Subscribe and follow us.